Elon Musk predicted strangely accurately when he said that LA is being destroyed by its own immoral inner politics towards its citizens that would eventually cause a catastrophic collapse of the city. And with this new lawsuit of Trump's DOJ towards LA, it's clearly shown that Elon was right. What's even worse, the situation with LA is far worse than anyone could expect because LA has been exposed in doing insane things that were done behind the scenes. DOJ says Los Angeles is breaking the law and defying the U.S. government by refusing to help catch illegal immigrants, turning the city into a shield against federal agents. And it was a brutal revelation in this lawsuit and might have had several consequences for the city. And Musk agrees with DOJ, saying this terrible behavior by the LA government with immigration policies, with creating some astonishing laws to spread an insane woke agenda, these people care only about themselves. This lawsuit showed and revealed a completely different side of LA, and it's not small. It's clear the city is tarnishing the respectable name that it acquired over the years. As a result, LA might get punished around $2 billion that will completely collapse the city. So let's explain everything. So, Trump's administration has exposed LA for being manipulative and not allowing fair rules for all citizens. LA is now staring down one of the biggest legal battles it's faced in years. That's because Trump's administration officially launched a massive lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles, and they're not playing around. DOJ says LA is openly breaking federal laws through its sanctuary city policies. The legal complaint was filed in the Central District of California and is directly naming Mayor Karen Bass, the LA City Council, and the city itself. At the center of this legal war is Ordinance, passed in December of 2024, a law that basically tells city officials and law enforcement to ignore federal immigration enforcement. It blocks them from sharing immigration status, refuses ICE detainer requests, and bans the use of any resources to help federal agents. Now things are unraveling fast. This isn't just an LA problem anymore. It's the first domino. The ruling might force immediate change for the whole state, but it's already triggering alarms around California. The DOJ says that's not just policy, it's obstruction. According to them, LA's ordinance violates the supremacy clause of the Constitution and turns the city into a rogue territory where federal law is being canceled outright. And this isn't just one case. This could become one of the most aggressive federal versus local fights we've seen in decades. But this law isn't random. It's part of a wider strategy in California designed to shield undocumented immigrants from federal action. LA's rules tell city employees they're not allowed to ask about immigration status, not allowed to report it, and not allowed to detain anyone on immigration grounds unless they've been convicted of violent or serious crimes. Supporters claim this is about protecting people from politically motivated ICE raids, but the DOJ sees it differently. They argue that LA didn't just not help, they actively blocked enforcement. They point to what happened in early June 2025 when ICE launched a series of raids across the city. What followed? Massive protests, violent escalations, looting near retail centers, and even riots at industrial warehouses. The National Guard was deployed. Federal military units, including the Marines, were sent to the Port of Los Angeles, and the DOJ says LA's sanctuary policy is exactly what triggered all of it. Federal prosecutors are accusing LA's leaders of creating a dangerous environment by cutting off coordination with federal agencies. The DOJ claims LA blocked access to detention centers and refused logistical support during operations. And the feds aren't mincing words. Attorney General Pam Bondi said Los Angeles has crossed the constitutional line and created a zone of legal immunity where federal law is being ignored and officers are being obstructed. She blamed the city's policies for fueling the June riots and called them reckless and politically motivated. ICE Director Jason Hauser backed her up and called LA's system catastrophic, pointing to an armed standoff at a cannabis farm in South LA where ICE agents were left without backup for 3 hours. City officials hit back immediately. Mayor Karen Bass called the lawsuit a federal overreach aimed at punishing compassion. Council member Hugo Soto Martinez didn't hold back either, accusing the DOJ of pushing a white nationalist agenda. And they're not alone. Civil rights groups, including the ACLU, are taking LA's side. They argue that DOJ is targeting progressive cities while ignoring basic constitutional rights. They're pointing to the 10th Amendment and the anti-commandeering doctrine, the legal argument that the federal government can't force cities to enforce its laws. The Supreme Court has ruled that way before, and LA is counting on that precedent. But they're not just defending, they're going on offense. LA and several advocacy groups have filed counter lawsuits accusing ICE of everything from racial profiling and illegal surveillance to denying detainees access to lawyers during the June raids. As you know, Elon Musk frequently warned about LA. He's been slamming the state's immigration policies nonstop, calling them dangerous, broken, and reckless. According to Musk, LA's sanctuary laws aren't helping anyone. They're tearing the city apart. He said that illegal immigration is now crushing public services, that hospitals, housing, and emergency response systems are collapsing under the weight, and he didn't sugarcoat it. Musk warned that the system is breaking down everywhere, describing dams bursting all over the country. His tone has shifted hard. He's not just criticizing policy anymore. He's saying this is the start of a total collapse, that sanctuary laws are opening the gates to chaos, fueling unrest, and putting cities like LA on a direct path toward failure. And Musk is warning everyone, wake up now or watch it all fall apart. For example, Elon famously called out Los Angeles and San Francisco as symbols of total collapse, cities falling apart in real time. Musk posted on Twitter, "Downtown SF and LA, for example, are not how we want civilization to end up. They're like a low-energy version of Mad Max Last of Us." That's not just criticism. That's Musk comparing LA to a post-apocalyptic wasteland, a city stripped of energy, order, and hope. According to Musk, what's happening in LA isn't random. It's the result of broken leadership, failed policy, and a system that's collapsing in slow motion. And he's saying it loud. If this is where we're headed, civilization is in serious trouble. But this situation with LA is not new, and it didn't start in June. This whole conflict has been building for years. LA's sanctuary push began during Trump's first term. It was formalized into local directives by 2023, but everything hardened after Trump won re-election in November 2024. LA officials knew what was coming and they braced for it. 1 month later, Ordinance 188441 was passed, and Trump's DOJ wasted no time. They signaled a crackdown on cities they called non-compliant jurisdictions. The June raids gave them the opening. What was supposed to be standard enforcement turned into chaos, and now the lawsuit is here. As for punishment, DOJ isn't asking for direct fines. Not yet. Their primary goal is to kill the ordinance through a permanent injunction. But here's the real risk: money. LA depends on $1.5 to $2 billion in federal funds every year, from HUD, DOJ, Homeland Security, grants that fund housing, policing, and emergency services. So worst case scenario, LA might be punished financially up to $2 billion. Also, DOJ could start suspending key programs, especially grants like Burn Jag or COPS. That would cut hundreds of millions from public safety. It wouldn't be a full defunding, but it would hurt. And if LA ignores the court, the city could face civil contempt fines. That means $10,000 to $50,000 a day, every day they refuse to comply. These fines are rare but not unheard of. Maricopa County in Arizona got hit with similar penalties for defying federal court orders. And in this case, the judge already warned LA about potential contempt proceedings, citing the city's gross insubordination. Right now, the case is still in its early stages. DOJ filed the complaint. LA responded. Motions to dismiss are coming. A preliminary injunction hearing will follow, then discovery. Possible trial in early 2026. Legal analysts expect this to go all the way to the Ninth Circuit, maybe even the Supreme Court. Until then, the ordinance stays in place and LA continues to block ICE. One thing helping LA for now is the Biden-appointed judge who blocked ICE's mobile raids. That buffer won't last forever. It all depends on how the DOJ builds its argument and what kind of evidence they bring in.